Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. This is the Blockchain Mathematician. Today we'll be discussing a quadratic solver in JavaScript where you can take in inputs A, B, and C for the quadratic equation, and you'll be able to, and the code will be able to use the quadratic formula to return to you the roots. So let's get started with the code. So as you can see here, I've created a file called solve.js and then a function called quadratic solver. I'll zoom in. Yeah, so we have a function called quadratic solver, and then up here I put the quadratic formula and quadratic equation for you. So this one here is the equation, and this one here is the formula, right? So what happens is this formula takes in the inputs of the equation, so A, B, and C, and then it computes the roots for this equation, right? So the x-intercepts, right? So let's get started. So the function will be called quadratic solver, but you can call whatever you want. And then it takes in parameters A, B, and C, right, for the constants. And then immediately we have an if statement here, right? So the if statement says if B multiplied by B or B squared is greater than or equal to 4 multiplied by A multiplied by C, then you're gonna get this code, right? So this is good, but why? If it's not true, so let's say that B multiplied by B or B squared is less than 4 multiplied by A multiplied by C, then you're going to get this else statement, which is saying that there are no roots for this equation, which makes sense because if you look at the square root, you'll see that we have B multiplied by B minus 4 multiplied by A multiplied by C, which means that if B multiplied by B or B squared is less than this, 4 multiplied by A by C, then this is going to become a negative value, right? And then if you square root the negative value, then you're going to get an imaginary number, which it doesn't work, right? If you're doing xy plane. So in that case, you're not going to get any roots for the equation, right? So that's why we have here, there are no roots for this equation. And secondly, we also say, and if A is not equal to 0, then you keep running this code. But if it is equal to 0, then you're going to say that there are, once again, there are no roots for this equation. Which makes sense because here, after you compute all of this, you're going to divide the expression by 2a. So which means if a is equal to 0, then you're going to be dividing by 0, and which is undefined, which means it doesn't work, right? So that's why we have this here. So moving on from this if statement, we can go on to the inside of the code. So inside of the block, I guess. So we start with the first part, which is the square root. So I decided to skip to here, where I say math.square root, which math is a library, and then .sqrt, which is square root, of B multiplied by B, or B squared, subtracted by 4 multiplied by A multiplied by C, which we already discussed a little bit, right? And then after that, we're going to do a plus part. Why? A plus part and a minus part. Why is because we have a plus or minus here in the formula, right? Which means after you compute the square root and minus b, then you're going to be first taking the addition between the two, and then you're going to subtract the two, which will give you two values, which makes sense because a parabola has two parts to it, and in some cases it'll intersect the axis twice, right? So that's why I have a plus part and a minus part, right? So in this plus part, what we do is we add minus 1 multiplied by b, or minus b, and the square root, and we're going to take this and then divide it by 2a. And similar for the minus part, but instead of adding, we'll subtract, right? But then here we say if plus part is equal to minus part, which means that there's only one root for the equation, then we're going to console.log just one of them, right? But if this is not true, and they're actually different values, then we're going to console.log both of them to get the answer, right? And then we're going to call this function. I just put here some random values, 1, 4, and 4, and then this function will work for you. Yeah, thank you very much for watching. You guys can test the code if you guys want. I hope to see you guys in another video. Have a good day.